Welcome to the start of the Gumball 3020 First Rally 2019. We're on the grid. Let me show you what's what. Let's hit it. Okay, so if you didn't guess, we are in Greece. First thing I would like to say is the people of Greece are so wonderful and so friendly, and clearly everyone's a massive petrol head because they've all come down here to witness the start of this supercar extravaganza. Speaking of which, let's try and pick up some highlight cars. Conveniently find myself stood next to Koenigsegg R, which is interesting. We were on this for a week. The good thing about this is I'm going to be able to immerse you in all sorts of cars. I'm going to be doing it in two cars. One is the Ferrari 812 Superfast, and the other one is going to be an Aston Martin Vulcan. I've been doing a bit of sharing of that car online. The response to it has been ridiculous. Now I'm in this 36-degree heat. I'm not entirely sure it was the right move, but either way, it'll be a fantastic experience of which, as always, we shall immerse you firsthand. Anyway, let's take you down the grid and try and speak with some interesting people, show you some interesting cars, and generally just see what's what. This is quite novel because we are number 2 on the grid. This is pretty cool. Look at these guys here. This is an amazing way to start Gumball 3000. We're in the 812 Superfast. Major chaos from the get. Major chaos. So this is a pretty crazy grid. Look at these guys!
There we go, we're off to the gas.
Look at this, we have a brand new Pagani Huayra Roadster.
Yeah.
So they managed to just pip us to the lead.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit of a shame, but you know what? It's nice to watch them leave.
You know, it's going to be amazing to watch that back end of that car.
It really is.
Until we get into the traffic.
How you doing,
and watch the back end of this car.
Look at it, these guys. Did you know what? The guys are so passionate. Yeah. They love it. So here we are. Jordan, welcome back to the channel, bro.
Thank you very much. It's been too long. It's been too long. We've talked about this a lot. We finally found a way to do it.
This is magic.
And here we go into first spot.
Here we are. We're about to lap. So how it works is the Gumball Foundation effectively allocates people their place on the grid based on how much money the individual car has raised for charity.
Do we know where our first turn is?
Not a clue. What's quite interesting about this is I've just stepped off a classic car rally, and they give you a route book with all the turns, turn by turn.
They've given us a plus one as well.
Is that amongst all of that?
It's in the boot.
That's in the boot. Okay. All right, we're going to get ourselves together, compose ourselves, and then we'll string together some more.
James actually needs to get changed.
I do. Jordan's bought me a very similar attire.
Yes.
More of that
slightly
later.
Different, yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Everyone's kind of passionate and crazy. So we're going to tell you shortly, once we've stopped racing with motorbikes, we're going to tell you
63 kilometers an hour.
The story of how this car almost didn't make it. Okay, so the last time this happened to me was Gumball 2012. Yeah. It was New York to LA, and I pulled out of a hotel in Should you call it St. Louis or St. Louis?
St. Louis. I would say, but St. Louis.
Okay.
St. Louis, right?
St. Louis, and I pulled out of the hotel, took 2 right-hand turns, and it said follow the road for 400 miles.
Oh yeah.
Well, we've just done a very similar thing in Athens. We're going from Athens to Thessaloniki, and true story, we're following this road for 309 miles. This is what it's all about. There's any way to start Gumball in a tunnel with a naturally aspirated V12. We've had our espressos.
We sure have.
We've had a shot of V12 to the ear holes, and we're back in the 812 Superfast that the majority of the audience will be familiar with from Gumball last year, which was London to Japan. Okay, so straight from the horse's mouth, while we go through this toll booth, just gives us an excuse to max out this V12 as we exit. First of all, the colour, man. What made you go for the colour?
I've always loved green.
That'll do. Awesome. Verde Hikers is actually a very well. First of all, it's incredibly rare, and I'm sure you'll agree, hard to get hold of.
Yes, very difficult to convince.
You can't actually just go, "Can I order this?" Which is amazing. Thank you very much. This was first launched on the 599 Hikers, which was a hybrid prototype, and that technology eventually made its way down into the Ferrari.
And the SF90.
And now the SF90. Yeah. So this is a very interesting colour. The reason I'm going on about the colour, because this will tie into the end of the story, and what a miracle your paint guys effectively have worked on the rebuild of this car. And that's where this story's going, because as far as I'm concerned, up till 2 weeks ago, the mere thought of me being sat in this seat doing this right now was almost unfathomable.
As the only person to ever drive this car other than me.
I'm honoured, dude. Yeah, I'm honoured to be part of this car's story.
This is the patina of the story. How did it come to be, and why does it have some weld marks underneath it?
That's it. So, first of all, let's set some context as to why this car is more, not just awesome, but sentimentally important. And I want to take you back to the unusual circumstances upon the first time that you took delivery of the car.
Yeah, because it was supposed to get delivered to me in Europe, because I felt like driving it to the first, because this car's job was to be the rally monster. That's why it's part of the reason I liked it being green. It's it eats miles for a living. And so I was supposed to pick it up in Maranello, drive it to London, leave it there a month later. Like I said, purpose built for the Gumball.
Yeah. So you took delivery of the car in London. For some context, Jordan lives in Vancouver, Canada. So really weird to be taking delivery of your car in Europe, and then you drove it somewhere special.
And not taking delivery in Maranello, as I mentioned, because Ferrari, because the timing was changing, would it be done in time for the Gumball, because I wasn't first in line, not being that level of client. So it actually ended up on the boat to New York, where it had to be turned into a Canadian car, touch Canadian soil for tax purposes. I can't pay Canadian tax with something that's never been in the country. And then get flown back to London. And it arrived to me at our hotel, the Gumball Hotel in London, on the Tuesday before the Sunday departure.
That's so I can't imagine. And so how long did you wait for the car, since placing order to taking delivery of it effectively?
It's usually about a year.
First of all, the two personal journeys you did. You collected the car in London, drove it to
Stonehenge, which is why on the keys it used to be all in one piece. It did break in somewhere in Japan last year. A little piece of Stonehenge.
That's cool. And then almost a year to the day,
Tuesday evening in both cases, in Athens this year and in London last year. I still live in Vancouver, for the record.
The car turns up in Greece. And you drive it to
the Temple of Poseidon.
So you have a thing for ancient monuments.
I do, because I thought the Druids should take care of it last year, and they did. And I guess Poseidon himself is going to be looking over us.
So I'm going to jump to the reason that I thought we were not going to be driving this car on Gumball 3000 this year.
And that is the accident.
So how did that happen?
That happened because it was in LA, because I was visiting Parker, and we were just driving to the store. Literally just driving to the store. We'd had torrential rain the night before. LA was in a long drought. What that does is it puts all the oil that's in the middle of the road, it puts it everywhere. It's basically like before you make eggs in the morning, you put some butter in the pan, you spread it around, and you turn the pan so that you can get that, you don't get a sticky surface. Great when you're making eggs in the morning. Not great when you're making a left turn with Parker in the car. in Los Angeles because, because as we're coming around the corner, I wanted to be a good driver for a YouTube blogger friend.
Pop is filming.
He's filming and he wants to do a bit of a piece on the car.
Yeah.
So I decided to give him some engine noise. My car was in the wrong setting because the GTC4 Lusso, the fourth position, is sport driving, being that it's not a track car.
And that's something that you drive daily.
I drive that every day, so it's quite often put in that position. It does not reset. There's no spring. I was in the Ferrari Sport Plus, which is called CT off.
So you give some, right foot, some serious depression.
Here you go, son.
Here you go, Parker. Have a bit of this. And then what happens?
And then the voice in the back of my head said, "The back end doesn't usually go out that far, Jordan. You should look into this." So I looked into this because I was looking in an entirely different direction. I try and save it, but you learned. I overcooked it. I made a mistake. I didn't have the training to do what I didn't have the skill level to do what I needed to do. And then I was going into a fluffy bush. What I didn't know was because underneath or behind the fluffy bush was about a 30-meter drop into one of the aqueducts that they have in Los Angeles to get the rainwater out. Right. So that behind that, because that probably had a considerable amount of water in it because of the rain we had the previous day, which is what made the road so slippery. So what you ended up getting was a cement fence / wall / steel that is designed to stop a city bus full of citizens from dying in there. And frankly, I honestly believe if that wall wasn't there and we'd gone over, Parker and I would have died. Because it was such a long drop. If there wasn't enough water, we would have died from the drop. And if there wasn't enough water, we probably would have drowned, because I don't know if we would have been able to get out in time, so it would have been upside down. And the windows were open, right? Yeah. So it's not like we had any floating going on. Yeah. So it would have been a bad day out. So, at this point, we'd already discussed doing Gumball. Yeah, it was already on the thing, and I don't think I really told you right away what had happened. Yeah. So, next thing I know, it's like, okay, Gumball's like a month away. So we should probably get around to fixing this car. And I thought I had tons of time, because we only started this repair, I think it was between the 18th to the 22nd of May. I think fairly is really when the work started, even though the car came back in February, because knowing it was going to be I'd already been told the car was not going to be ready. I didn't tell you that. Cool. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is splice in the photos of the condition of this car, with no exaggeration, 2 weeks ago. And so what you're probably looking at now, everything forward of this, the engine had to be removed by Ferrari Maserati of Vancouver. It sat on a bench for 2 weeks. And it stayed there. Yeah. The shop is called 360 Fabrication. They got official sign-off on Ferrari to do the work, because they do lots of work on muscle cars and hot rods, lots of custom work for Barrett Jackson, sold cars, that kind of thing. They're amazing. You probably know the name if you're into that world of cars, the muscle cars. Yeah, the engineering tolerances on these are incredible. And not negotiable. No. Particularly when they're capable of the performance and speed that they do, almost effortlessly. You don't want something to go wrong with that bit. You can't. It's been through the mill, it's been reconstructed by ninjas in 2 weeks, and then there's the logistics of getting it to Greece in time. It had to get there. If it misses it, I did have a backup plan for that, even though there's no backup plan for the car repair. But we effectively went through all of this work since about May the 19th or 20th. And then made the plane by 2 hours. Made the plane by 2 hours, and this is after hundreds of hours of man hours. Do you have that Yeah, I do. 250? 120. 120. Okay, we're gonna get a euro back for that rebate. And now, what's your opinion? Because I was just about to say I've driven my fair share of 812 Superfast. I'm fairly familiar with them. Yeah. If I didn't know, I wouldn't know. It feels like, so if I kept it a secret the whole time, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Just small. I thought we might have had some vibrations with the wheel, or the turning might not have been a shock, because the turning on these is ridiculous. Very cool. Here we are. We've made it. Day 1 of Gumball 3000. We made it, dude. How was that? You know what? It was the first time we've ever driven in the same car together. Guys, we have an update. How's it going? How's it going? How's the drive? Very well, thank you. Yeah, not too bad. How number of car opening? 4th. That's pretty good. Look at this. So we got more boats. You know what's magic about Gumball is the locations that they arrange for us. Like, there's one thing
we could do this trip on our own.
Yeah.
But first of all, we'd be lacking
We would
the
be
camaraderie.
We were actually on. It's important to
And
realize.
second, we'd be lacking these locations.
Well, we're walking on the pedestrian, walking, running, biking.
We would never
path.
be cleared to do this if we arranged it ourselves.
Right.
Hey guys, so you're gonna pull in straight forward, so just follow me.
Okay, mate.
Okay, we're down there.
So as far as finishing days go, we've got a quality hot dog from the hotel.
We did.
We arrived early enough to watch them arriving from the balcony up here.
And not our first hot dog together.
Do you know, this is funny. When we went to Vancouver, you have an amazing petrol station near to your house, which has this hot dog barbecue while you're filling up with fuel.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously good.
things
So
at one
this is
time.
becoming kind of a routine. So,
Extraordination.
so listen, dude.
Yeah,
here's
cheers.
to an amazing rally.
Yep.
Thanks very much. As always, thank you so much for watching. Questions and comments below. There's much rallying
Why
to
is
be
Jordan
had.
not wearing a shirt being one of them? There's an answer. There's a story to that too.
Ciao for now.